What's up, everybody? It is box day here in the Carpoo's Mining Lab, and I am incredibly excited about this box. In fact, I'm more excited about this box than any other box we've ever had. And I know I say that every single time, but that's just because the boxes just keep getting better and better and better. But I've been excited about this thing ever since the very first discussions, even talking about the possibility of its existence. And it finally does exist, and it's here. So let's not waste any time. Let's open this thing up. Let's find out what's inside, and let's have some fun. Okay, so if you know the channel, you know the deal. We got to start with the magic knife. Let's do it. Okay, so we have to very carefully open this thing. Okay, wow, that was easy. That was two things. We'll start with this one. Oh, wow, look at the package. That's wild looking. Okay, let me just, let me take a pause here so I can take a photo with this. Okay, back to business. Let's carefully open this. Oh, wow, oh my goodness. Okay. This is the Zyber Blanc. Look how cool it is. Oh, wow. This looks unlike anything that I have ever seen before. It is really, really cool. We're gonna take this thing apart. We're gonna see how it performs. We're gonna have a whole bunch of fun. But before we do that, there is another box that we still have to open. Another Zyber Blanc. What? There's two Zyber Blancs? Oh my gosh. Is this what I think it is? It is what I think it is, I think. Okay, this, ladies and gentlemen, is called the Watchdog. Now, the Watchdog is incredibly cool because it looks like a dog, and it allows you to watch things about the miner. So this little display right here on the top, this actually has a projection of your hash rate, of the temperature, and all the things that you want to know about this device, because as you can see, the Zyber Blanc does not have a display anywhere. And so you can use apps like Hashboard, or you can use something like the Watchdog instead. So let's go ahead and put the Watchdog's tail on. Oh my gosh, it's cute! You know, I love dogs, and I love magical cubes, and so this is right up my alley. I think it goes like that. Oh, cool. Watchdog. Okay, you know, I got this black desk because I thought it would be cool. Like, I thought it would look good, right? But every time I make a video, every little speck of dust shows up, and it makes me look like I live in filth, and I don't. Anyway, enough about my filthy desk. Let's go ahead and plug this thing in and do the honors. So here we go. Well, tell me that's not the coolest thing you've ever seen. It's like a volcano. That's what it reminds me of. Like an erupting volcano. Okay, let's put it next to the dog. Okay, cool beans. Now, let's get this thing connected to the network. So, we need to go to the settings here. And we need to find this thing's network that it's broadcasting. Oh, there we go, Zyber. Okay. Click on Zyber. Okay, so what we want to do from here is we want to name this thing. What are we going to name it? This is going to be Carpoo's Mining 0018. 0018, actually. And we need to put our network in here. Okay, then we press, let's see, save. And we restart. Okay, now let's go to our Hashboard app and let's see if we can find it on Hashboard. So we want to add a new miner, so miner setup. And I want to scan the network for miners. Okay, while it's doing that, let's just take a look at this thing. Look how amazing that is. Let's take a sneak peek inside of there. You want to? Okay, let's do that. Kind of hard to see with all the flashing lights, but you've got two fans, you've got this giant heat sink. And that just looks really cool. Okay, cool. So that's cool. It reminds me of like active volcanoes. I didn't realize that these things were going to glow red like this. Oh, now they're turning green. Oh, wow. Okay, that's too cool. I love this thing. This sort of sums up everything that I love about TinyChipHub. You know, number one, they were one of the first to ever develop a single chip BM1373 miner. That in and of itself is really cool. But instead of looking like this, which is a really cool device, this is another TinyChipHub device, which is just like a PCB and a heatsink and a fan, with a really cool stand, by the way, that I designed. They go ahead and make it look like this, which is totally different. It's got these mountain peaks, it's got this cool aluminum body. I love the Zyber Blanc with the little mountain logo on the front. And then the icing on the cake, they make this adorable little dog with a magical cube for a head. So this is why I love TinyChipHub. They are true innovators. They are masters of their craft. And now we are good to go. We've got some bad news though. So I tried to add this to the Hashboard app, and it did not work because this is a new OS. This is the Zyber OS, which looks really cool. Look at that efficiency. Oh my gosh. Anyway, because it's new and we haven't had a chance to add support to the app, unfortunately we cannot use Hashboard to check out our data on this really cool device. I'm a little disappointed that we couldn't get this thing connected to the Hashboard app. That's an app that Eric and I co-created. Eric did most of the work, by the way. But I expected this because with the Zyber 8G, there's a version of Zyber OS, but it's very similar to AXOS. And that means that the API endpoints, those are all the same. And so connecting it is very easy because we already offer support for AX devices. With this is clearly enough of a departure from AXOS that all that stuff is different now. So we're going to have to do some work. We're going to have to talk to the guys at TinyChipHub. So we were able to add support for this device because I want to know, obviously, I want to be able to monitor it on my Hashboard app or Hashboard dashboard, as it were. But the cool thing is this, it's probably for the best. If we were connected to Hashboard, I'd be showing you this data on the phone the whole time, and you'd miss out on the glorious Zyber OS. So this gives us a chance to review this new OS and explore it. It's very beautiful. I like the colors. It looks like a very modernized version of AXOS. It's got a little more information. It's got a great layout. It's got the organization of it I love. Let's see. Hopefully you can see all this on the screen. Let me shrink this a little bit so you can see the entire thing. Okay, there we go. I think you can see it all on my screen now. But it just looks very cool. It looks very modernized. It looks very 2026 like this device that we got here. So we're currently at 2.6 terahashes per second. We're at 9 joules or watts per terahash. Now, these chips are incredibly efficient. That's the really cool thing. We're only using 23.8 watts right now, and that's why if you go and buy yourself a Bitmain S23 Hydro, it's going to cost you $14,000. These chips are not cheap, and that's why these devices are also not cheap. But again, it's very, very efficient. 23 watts, it's like a very small light bulb, and so this thing is just like sipping electricity. We're not going to go too crazy with this thing today. My kids are going crazy in the living room, by the way, so excuse me, or excuse them, I guess. They're having fun. We're not going to go too crazy with this because we're limited by the power supply. So this power supply, I think, only goes up to 35 watts. So it leaves us no room whatsoever as far as trying to overclock this thing and have fun with it. Also, I just got this thing, so I don't want to break it right away. I want to at least enjoy it for a day or two. And so what we're going to do is just, again, take a look at some things. I will show you Zyber OS. Then we're going to switch back to this device because I want to show you what it looks like when it glows in the dark. The little beautiful mountain peaks are beautiful. Obviously, beautiful mountain peaks are beautiful when they're glowing. And then I want to take this thing apart and I want to show you what the BM1373 chip looks like. I've never actually seen one in my entire life. I've seen photos, I've seen videos, but I've never laid my eyes upon a glorious Bitmain BM1373 S23 chip. So we'll do that, and we'll compare it to the BM1370 because I happen to have one on the wall right here. Now it's important to note that these videos that I make, I'm doing all the things myself. When you watch like a Vosk coin or a hobbyist miner, they have teams of people. They have editors, they have script writers, they have special effects people, they have all these people doing stuff. And me, I'm just screwing around with stuff in my office here while my kids jump on the couch in the living room. So excuse the kid noises, excuse my fumbling and stumbling on words sometimes. We're doing the best we can here on the channel, doing the best we can. So that's all I can say. So anyway, this looks a lot like AXOS. You got the dashboard here. You got the settings. You've got your performance you can switch to. We're on custom mode right now. Now it says excessive overclocking or mismatched frequency plus voltage may cause minor instability. Proceed with caution. And I noticed that because I was playing around with this before I recorded this, and it's very finicky. So I'm going to have to experiment with it. I also noticed that Eco, Normal, Performance, and Custom, well, not Custom, but Eco, Normal, and Performance, they're very, very tiny increments. And they go up like, let's see, each bump up is only 15 on the frequency, and as far as the voltage goes, it's like 5 millivolts each way. So it's like these tiny little incremental adjustments. You've got your network settings here, you got the pool settings, that's all self-explanatory. You've got the system, this shows you all that kind of good stuff. You've got the scoreboard, which shows you when this thing hits good shares. So far, our best share is only 15.9 M, but again, we haven't had this thing very long. We've got the logs here if you want to get a good look at what's going on under the hood. And then, of course, we have the update. Now, I just did the update. We are currently running, let's see, V 1.1.6. So that's the latest update. That's the version we're running, so we're good there. And you have an option to restart the device. Pretty cool, I guess. So Now let's take a look at this thing glowing in the dark, because it is an absolute thing of beauty, and you're probably tired of looking at me at this point. So let's switch back to the glorious Zyber Blanc. Okay, so check this thing out. Now let me shut the light off real fast, just so you can get the full effect. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go. Now in my opinion, TinyChipHub has always been the leaders as far as innovation is concerned. And I think this thing just puts them even further in the lead because it's just a very cool device. There's nothing else quite like this. And I've seen every single Bitcoin miner that you can possibly see, and this one is awesome. Now the cool thing about this is I thought, because there are these holes in the top, that these had something to do with the airflow. They actually don't, because this is a solid piece on the bottom. And so when this thing is closed, or when the top is on rather, it works a lot like one of these Bitcoin miners, where you have an intake fan here and you have an exhaust fan here. And so when you've got the top on, it kind of makes like this wind tunnel, and you've got these holes on the end right there. And so it's a really cool device. The interesting thing is, with the top on, there are these little cracks, as you can see, where the light's coming through, and you can kind of hear air sucking in, and so it's actually a little noisier, in my opinion. Maybe not. Well, kind of makes like a high-pitched sucking noise. I don't know if the microphone is picking it up or not. So this, like when I first got this, I assumed, like, you don't want this on, obviously, because this has something to do with the airflow. That's not the case at all. So all of this is purely decorative. So I don't know what the inspiration for the mountains was on this device. Maybe they were just like, you know, if you're gonna do something like this where you make a wind tunnel, you can make it look like that, or you can just stick mountains on there. This says Zyber Blanc, and then right here in Chinese, that actually says Mont Blanc, I guess. That's what ChatGPT said. I don't read Chinese, but I guess that's what that says. So anyway, yeah, you've got these little vents, and you've got this just really cool look. And again, I love the fact that it's got a dog sidekick. My kids were like, puppy, puppy, I want to see the puppy. I'm like, you can look at it, but you can't touch the puppy. And my wife, she walks in and she says, wow, that is really cool. And that is the highest compliment, because my wife, she's completely disinterested in this stuff. This is not her cup of tea. She doesn't dislike it, but she's just not very interested in it. And so for her to walk in and say, wow, that's cool, that's like the highest honor, because again, she doesn't notice any of the other ones. She doesn't pay attention to this stuff. But I think anybody can look at this and see that it's very interesting, it's very unique. And to have this sitting on your desk and someone asks, what is this? It's a Bitcoin miner? That is really, that's amazing in my opinion. So hats off to the guys at TinyChipHub. I've always really liked those guys. I love the products that they make. Even the older stuff, like that's a TinyChipHub miner. That's a TinyChipHub miner. That is a TinyChipHub miner. This is one of the older ones, and it's a beautiful device. I also have a Zyber 8G, which is in the other room, so I'm not going to walk all the way in there, but very cool. If you've never seen one of those, look it up. Those are a lot less expensive now, too, by the way, so if you're interested in an 8-chip BM1373 miner, make sure to check that out. Now what we're going to do is we are going to open this thing up. We are going to take this thing out. We're going to take the heatsink off, and we're going to take a look at the chip. So let's do that. Okay, guys, here it is. That's the chip right there. Check it out. It is a BM1373cc. Hopefully you can see that okay. But here's a comparison. So look how much bigger that thing is than this chip right here. So these are the 1370s. Those are the ones that are on, or in rather, the S21 XP. And then this is the latest and greatest chip that is inside of the S23 series of miners. So really cool. Anyway, out with the old, in with the new. Okay, so let's take a second to talk about the dog with the magical holographic cube display on the top here. It's very interesting. If you tap this thing, it goes through the various displays. It will show you devices on your network. It will show you the total hash rate. It will show you things like the Bitcoin price. And it is just a really interesting device. Now this thing is only 60 bucks. And so for the price, it's worth it because it is just really, really interesting. I like it. We'll make another video about this thing specifically because there's setup and, you know, you can do different things with different devices. But this video is about the Zyber Blanc. So back to the Zyber Blanc. Who is this device for? Now, why would you buy this thing when you could buy this thing from TinyChipHub? It's got 4 BM1370 chips in it. That's got 1 BM1373. This thing has a higher hash rate. Again, it's about the same price. And so if your goal is hash rate on a budget, buy something like the NerdQX++. This is more like a Porsche 911. And I say that because if you're in the market for a car and your goal is to get the best value for the money, something that will get you reliably from point A to point B, a Porsche 911 is probably not what you're going to buy. But if you want something that's especially interesting, it's unique, it looks cool, that is probably the way to go. So it really depends on what your goals are. Now I have a ton of hash rate. I've got tons of miners here. I've got miners hosted. I've got miners everywhere. And so for me, if it comes down to like the cheaper option with more hash rate versus something that has slightly less hash rate, but it's far more interesting, I want the more interesting thing because again, I already have a bunch of miners. And so it really boils down to what you want. Now, Hammer's got the Thor X1 that is also a BM1373 miner, and you can probably get a higher hash rate out of the X1 than you can out of this. This is not really meant for high hash rate. It's meant to run at about 2.5, 2.6 terahashes per second, and that is so people don't push these chips and these components to the absolute extreme. Now, the difference between something like that and this, that's got a 3D printed stand. This thing has this billet aluminum. I mean, this is all aluminum. And it's heavy, and it's nice, and it's just a much higher quality device as far as I'm concerned. Now, again, I'm not knocking the Hammer Thor X1. I've never even seen one of those. I'm a big fan of the Hammer stuff. But this thing is just a different level. It's a luxury device. And so, I don't know. It just depends on what your goals are. If your goals are something unique and interesting, something that's going to look great sitting on your desk, the Zyber Blanc is a good way to go. If your goals are to get something where you're going to get the most hash rate for the money you spend, get something like this, or get yourself an S19K Pro and have it hosted or turn it into a 120 volt miner. I don't know, but I'm a big fan of this thing. Again, I think it's very cool. It's unlike anything. I would say right now my favorite devices that exist are this thing right here. I probably have one of these. And I probably have this thing right here, which is not working right now because I need to get a new fuse. Don't worry about that. We'll talk about that later. But again, I already have a bunch of miners that are hosted. I've got ANT miners. I've got S21 XPs. I've got S19 XPs. I'm getting some Seal miners. And so, if I had to start from scratch right now, I would probably buy one of these things because I like it. And I'd get its little sidekick dog to go with it. I would get myself a NerdQX and solo mine for Bitcoin with that thing. And then I would just spend all my money on hosted miners because when I go to Turkey, I cannot take any of this stuff with me, I guess. I guess I could probably. I have to decide which devices that I'm going to take. And so right now I'm thinking about, I'll probably take the Zyber Blanc. I will probably take this thing right here, which is my Touch Turbo. I love this thing. And I will take the NerdQX. All this other stuff is going to get unplugged, because I can't leave it running while I'm gone. We'll be gone for a couple of months. And then, of course, the other miners that I have that are hosted at Terra Hosting and at Simple Mining, those will continue to mine, and I'll be able to access those from my dashboard and continue doing my thing while I am abroad. But yeah, this is my shelf of favorites right here. This is all my favorite stuff. I've always loved this device. This is just really cool. I like to see all the information. I'm going to hack this thing. So we're going to do a video tomorrow where we're going to hack the open source firmware. We're going to add some displays. We're going to have some fun with that. So yeah, I can toss this in a bag, toss a power supply in a bag. I can toss this in a bag. And then of course my beautiful, beautiful QX from my good friends at IX Tech. I'm taking that thing with me just because I love this thing. It's so cool. I don't know what happened to this, by the way. I woke up in the morning and this was not on, and I realized that the fuse had blown, and I have no idea why. I wasn't running at a high hash rate. I'm not sure exactly what happened to it. But we're going to try to fix that thing, and we're going to get it back up and running. Otherwise, I guess I will just be taking these two with me because they are the most interesting, they're compact, they are quiet, and they are fantastic devices as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, if you want to know more about this thing, there's a link down in the description below. I don't think my coupon code, my discount code, works for this device right now because it's already on sale. But if you end up buying one, let me know. Let me know what you think and let me know how you like it. And if you solo mine with it, which is what you should do, that's what it's made for, good luck and happy mining. So anyway, you got any questions about the dog? You have any questions about the Zyber Blanc? Let me know in the comments. I will be happy to answer you. We will talk more about this I'm going to modify this thing a little bit because even though this thing is not designed to be run, you know, it's not supposed to be some sort of hash rate monster. I think if we put a new heatsink on it and a different fan, if we use a different power supply, I think we will be able to probably get 4 or 5, maybe even 6 terahashes a second out of this beautiful thing. So that's pretty much the deal. That's all I've got for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I always appreciate the support of the channel. If you wouldn't mind subscribing or leaving a friendly comment or a like on this video, I'd appreciate that too. And otherwise, have yourself a wonderful day.